Okay. Now, as you notice, there's a couple things going on here. The textures are doing kind of weird things. And the reason is that, and this is getting a little advanced, but I'm going to explain kind of what's happening here. I'm gonna select the geometry, and if we were to select the geometry and look at it, you can see that things are separate. So it is mapping one texture file or one shader network onto multiple faces here. So this one is pointing this one, and this one is pointing horizontally, and this one is pointing vertically. And the size on this plane is different than the size on the rest of the house, and so on. So we're going to fix that. Again, I want to show you a couple things. I'm going to go to Display, Polygons, and I'm going to just do a display here. Excuse me. And I want to show border edges. Now, what border edges are, they are where on a polygon, on a surface, where the surface ends and there's a border. So here there's these polygons and these edge loops are connected, but as you get up to here, you can see that it's thicker, but it's showing the thicker green line. You can't see it. You can see it kind of here. So this is where one plane ends and is meeting another one. So they're not actually connected. So when you put on a texture, it's going to have the same attributes, but the size of the plane is going to be different. So it's going to plane on that surface differently than this bigger surface here. So I'm going to show you pretty much an easy way to fix that. First of all, I'm going to go to display. I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to undo the border edges. We don't need to see that anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the roof here. And if you notice here, I'm going to go into my, let's go into, open up the Hypershade, rendering editors. I always lose that. Rendering editors, Hypershade. And here's the Hypershade, and I'm going to fix that roof. So again, I'm going to select that roof texture here, and I'm going to open up the shader network here so you can kind of see that. And this is what it's looking like. So there's a couple files here. This is probably going to be a bump map. Here is the material, and here is the place texture. So if I click on that and open up that place texture attributes, Control A, you can see that, okay, I'm running out of room here, but you can kind of see what's going on. I'm just going to show you what's going on. I'm going to rotate the frame. So you can see when it's rotating correctly to this one, but then it's incorrect on that one. Okay, so the way to fix that is I'm going to close the Hypershade again, and I'm going to reopen that. And oops, sorry, I did Window, Render Settings, Hypershade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of this shader network. So I'm going to select that roof, and I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate, Shading Network. And what that did is it just duplicated that material. So it's the same material, but now I can what I can do is I can change the attributes separately. So what I'm going to do, this one looks right, so I'm going to put a new material on this one. This is called Roof 1, the new one. And I'm going to select the faces. I'm going to select that face and that face. And I'm going to, there's a couple ways to do this. I can just drag that new material onto that surface there, or I can, with it selected, I can right click and go to Assign Existing Material, and that existing material is called Roof 1. That is the new one. Okay, and nothing happened because it's the same right now. But now if I selected that material and I looked into its attributes, and I'm going to navigate to the place 2D texture. Now look what happens here. Now when I rotate, it's rotating just that because it's a separate texture. So I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees. And now I have oriented that roof texture without affecting the one that is correct. Now you can do different things. You can change the coverage of it like that. Actually, I wanted to go the other way, so let's undo that, and let's undo that back. If I wanted to make it smaller, I want to go to boom. I'm going to navigate to that place 2D texture. I'm going to make the coverage 0.5 and 0.5. Actually, that's not what I wanted. I think I want something else. I want to change that back to 1. And let's go see what we need to do. We need to repeat. So I'm going to repeat this 2 and 2. And there we go. We have a more of a to scale texture here. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to select the roof, the original one, navigate to that place 2D texture, and let's repeat UV 2 and 2. And now we have a roof that is more to scale. Now what you need to do is, now we have the same thing going on with this with the siding. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find that siding, and it's called Lambert 9. What I might do is I'm going to rename that. Let's call this siding 1, like so. And I'm going to select that siding 1, go to Edit, Duplicate, Shading Network, and I have a siding 2, and I'm going to do that one more time because I'm going to need two sidings for that. I'm going to just take siding 2, go Edit, Duplicate, Shading Network, and I have siding 3. First thing I'm going to do is the siding 1. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to navigate to the place 2D texture, and I'm going to repeat UV4 in the U. Let's see if that'll work. Sometimes you have to experiment around with this a little bit. No, it's not. That's not the right one. Let's do 4 on that one. Okay, so 4 on the V, which is the second one, gives me a siding that I think is pretty good. And you can tell that it also, because this, I haven't reassigned a new surface to these other surfaces that aren't working yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Face, and I'm going to select those faces there, and I'm going to right click over it and go to Assign Existing Materials and go Siding 2. Okay, now it came in right. We were lucky on that one. Okay, so you can see that it's pretty close. Now I can adjust that. So if I can go to Siding 2, navigate up here to the place 2D texture, and I can repeat UV. Let's just repeat it 0.5, maybe 0.8. So I'm making it a little bit smaller, and that's matching up pretty good. Now I just have this one. Now you notice that the orientation on this one is different. So again, I need to select that face. And another thing you can do is you can just, with the siding 3 selected, you can just middle mouse, select the face, face, and then middle, I didn't do it. Okay, select the face and middle mouse over the node, and you can place that right on there. That's the other way. Instead of assigning existing material, you can just middle mouse drag the material onto the surface you want the new texture to go. Okay, so now with that selected, I'm going to now have to reorient it. Go to Place 2D Texture and rotate the frame 90 degrees. And then I'm going to repeat. Now the other one was the V, but since it was horizontal, it's going to be repeating the U, so I think it's going to be 0.8 again. No, that wasn't right. Let's see if this one will work. 0.8. Yeah, a little better. So it is the same one here, and I'm going to make that 0.6. And there we go. That's pretty good. And as you can see, I've now fixed the textures on this house pretty good, pretty easily, without doing a lot of extra work. I just needed to add a few other things and make sure that the surfaces had its own attributes, the ones that were conflicting with each other. And now I've got a house model. Let's just do a little test render here, and that's working pretty good. And you can adjust it a little bit more, but for now I'm pretty happy with that, and we can move on.